There's a 10-second delay, then it'll click on.
Welcome to our next stop on the APTA's Grand Prix Tour, the Midwesterns, presented by APTA national sponsors Viking, Fusion, Upswings Health, and My Paddle, and local sponsor Roto-Rooter. We are live at the Hyde Park Golf and Country Club on the APTA network, presented by eNet Live. I'm Brad Easterbrook, alongside Mark Fischel, bringing you the men's final round action between the number 1 seed of Scott Kaler and Philip Rams and the number 2 seed of Adam Morgan.
Here's a game ball to warm up.
And Tyler Frazier. So, Mark, once they get the ref up there, that's our ref Jay Goman. Why don't you introduce the players on the court?
So, Brad, I'm looking forward to doing the final with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. On the near side of the court, the bottom of your screen in the white hat is Philip Rams. And his partner in the blue jacket is Scott Kaler. On the far side in the white hat is Adam Morgan. And in the completely unrecognizable with virtually no skin showing in the black hoodie is Tyler Frazier.
It's very much a witness protection action over there from Tyler Frazier, although he's very recognizable out here in the Cincinnati area, Mark.
He is the hometown hero, and I'm sure this is he's very excited about an opportunity to win his hometown tournament. Why don't we take a look at the draw and see how both teams got here? can see they've both had relatively easy paths. No tough matches to speak of.
Yeah, they flew through the draws, so you look forward to that. Often you play 4 matches in a day and you worry about fitness as part of it. I don't see that coming into play here at all, Mark.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Bradford. Let's take a look at the Viking keys to victory, and we can start talking about how the teams match up and what our fans can be looking for. So for Kaler Rams, they're going to want to control the tempo, Brad. I mean, Scott Kaler is a master of this. They're going to want to play slowly. I think they're going to want to serve well because I think controlling the net's important for them. And then the big factor, which we saw Rose and Colmar unable to do in the last match was defend the blitz, which just got overwhelmed by. And for Fraser Morgan, it's play fast, which is going to be a real challenge for them. Control the net, because I just don't think they have enough offense to win from the backcourt. And embrace the moment, to me, is all about Tyler Frazier playing in his hometown tournament and not getting too keyed up and too amped up in this match.
Yeah, he's never won this event. It would be huge if he does. He's the director of racket sports at the local Cincinnati club, the Camargo Club. So it's a big deal for him to, see if he can bring home a Midwesterns title to a hometown hero. And I think, what you said before, Mark, sorry about that, was, it's not going to be easy for them to control, the net and play fast. And the reason for that is going to be, we expect that Rams and Kaler are going to find that place where they can let the overheads drop, push it long and deep and slow, and keep the ball deep and let Frazier try to beat him with his forehand a little bit.
Yeah, I think the key to this, actually I got a correction from Graham McNerney. He thinks that Tyler has won the tournament, but regardless, he thinks that I think that the key to the match is going to be Philip Rams and his willingness to, as Graham McNerney calls it, do nothing. And just keep challenging that Tyler Frazier forehand with that soft overhead. Because you know what you're going to get from Scott Kaler. He's going to play really smart. He's going to control the tempo. And you pretty much know what you're going to get from Adam Morgan. So I think that Rams' willingness to be out there to play slow, not to get antsy during the long points, and being willing to just keep challenging that forehand is critical.
Game on, as Garth would say.
There's our umpire, Jay Goman, up there saying game on to the participants. And we've also heard from a producer that they are no longer doing no ad scoring. They're going to play this one out, so we'll see full deuces.
And that's how all the top teams have played Tyler Frazier. They've just challenged his forehand. I mean, his backhand is obviously a world-class shot. They've really gone after his forehand with a lot of stalls and made him generate his own pace. And there's the schedule of the Grand Prix for the season. The Hinsdale tournament, February 5th and 6th, has been split. Women are going to play in Hinsdale, men are going to play in Detroit. Western New England's next weekend. Jeff Morneau's running that. That should be a tremendous event. Yeah, everybody's there. And then one of the big questions we all have is, are we going to be playing Nationals in Boston that weekend? I want to throw some big shout-outs to the APTA, Amin Kadari, Ann Sheedy, Tiernan Kavana, who rumor has it may be turning professional golfer. She shot 77 last weekend in Florida. And the APTA may lose her to the LPGA Tour, which is it's a real concern.
That's incredible. Congratulations to Tiernan Kavana.
There's a rumor going around that she's going to put a tattoo on her arm that says 77, which is a little disquieting, I got to say, Brad.
Yeah, I don't even remember where I was in 77.
She's got other tattoos apparently, but we won't get into that now. Yeah, the APTA staff has done such an amazing job being able to maintain these play these tournaments in a healthy, safe environment for our players. Very few of the tournaments have lunch inside. We're trying to keep the players outside. Masks are mandatory. And it's just been remarkable that we've been able to do what we had. It's really regionalized the game this year. Very few East Coast teams are traveling. Very few Midwest teams are traveling. I think there have been now 3 players who flew to tournaments this season.
So just take a look, obviously, for the viewers out there. You can see the snow's coming down.
A couple more minutes,
good.
guys. I'm going to do introductions.
All right, right, so they're going to keep
Good
warming up for a
afternoon
couple
from
minutes. Jay
Hyde
Goldman.
Park Golf and Country Club. Today we have the finals of the men's 2021 Midwesterns. On my left, from Cincinnati, Ohio, Tyler Frazier and his partner Adam Morgan from Lake Bluff, Illinois. On my right, from Swickley, Pennsylvania, Scott Kaler and his partner from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philippe Rams. We're going to be
Brad, any
playing
thoughts
all
on
the
the
way
weather?
out today,
Who's going to help?
so we will have ad scoring. Best 2 out of 3 sets today with the tiebreakers.
All right, so there's Joe Goldman just laying it out
Jay
for us.
Goldman.
Yep.
Tyler, since you're the only local kid here, how about spinning that paddle for us?
You think the weather's going to help one team or the other, Brad?
You know, if anything, I think it actually helps Kaler and Rams because they're looking to control the tempo, and it's just harder to control the ball if you're looking to speed things up in a wetter weather when the ball's picking up some moisture. And Kaler hits a flat ball, and flat balls are just inherently better in wet weather.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch Kaler's game evolve through the years. Not the most physically of talented guys, doesn't have that big tennis forehand, and he's such a smart player. He volleys exceptionally well, and he's very difficult to blitz because he plays so close to the net, which I think is going to present real issues for Frazier and Morgan.
You know, and I think that was a really good point you just brought up there, Mark. I was about to bring that up, is the ability to play close to the net is going to be a huge thing in this match, because if Morgan takes a forehand and he's able to drive it down, Frazier is just a demon. He only needs a split second to get up there. And if you're volleying up at all, the advantage is absolutely for, we got on the scorecard there, Crick and Lofgren. We're going to have to change that to Frazier and Morgan. But the advantage is absolutely to Frazier and Morgan. So that ability to play close to the net, which gives you the ability to volley the ball down instead of up to your opponent, will be crucial in this match. And then we're going to have to see, because in the match before, Rose and Colmar played sort of into their hands to a degree. They were fine with playing fast with them. They allowed them many opportunities. The only spot they got any purchase in the points was when they were hitting some long, deep overheads and keeping them back, and I expect Kaler and Rams to be doing that all day long.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Scott Kaler's ability to control tempo, play slowly, and we'll see if we're going to see the same thing. I guess they got to close that gate. Tyler just walked in, didn't close it. We'll see if Philippe is willing to play that way, because I know that when they lost to Durant Mitchell, Long Island, Long Island, they got away from that, and Philippe started to play much faster than was necessary.
All right, so Scott Kaler to start us off here, and we're going to be underway for the men's final round action. The other door slightly ajar, I think, as well. Or nope.
I think they're turning the heaters on again.
Lights, the heaters, yep.
Yeah, in addition to all his other talents, Scott's probably got one of the best overhand serves in the country.
And he follows it up with a good volley. Gets in close, nice compact stroke. It's like a winter wonderland out there. It's absolutely beautiful.
Snow's increasing in frequency.
It definitely means that the court's going to get wet. The heaters are going to keep that snow from accumulating in any way, shape, or form, but the ball's going to pick up the moisture.
There you see Kaler staying back on the first ball, which is really surprising because he's one of the few guys that almost always serves and comes in behind it.
Yep, well played. That's the perfect long, deep overhead we're going to see a lot of. Ball into the deep part of the court. Now, Mark, we did talk a lot about tempo, right? So we're going to see how this match develops. But, it's also possible that, Frazier and Morgan adjust to the tempo. They realize we're not getting the bits. They become willing to play long points and take the right shot, at the right time, as opposed to try to speeding it up all the time. And right there, a lob return, smooth.
First point, Tyler Frazier hit that Steve DeRose spike from the backcourt.
Well, it wasn't even a spike. He just hit a cutter to the net player, and the spin acts on the other guy's paddle. You got to hit the ball up more than you think. And sure enough, Rams did not do that. And as a consequence, in both cases, oh, that one went over. In the other case, the ball just went down into the net. So you have to counteract that spin by hitting up more.
An interesting shot. DeRose is the only person I've ever seen hit that previously.
That's a little long. Ball's lower than the net. Oh, it hit him.
30-15.
Nicely done. And good call from Adam Morgan, calling in on himself. The ball hit his back.
Tyler Frazier likes to play short in the court. Use his hands and his speed to get in close. So you see him hugging that baseline all match long.
And he does a good job, Mark, of reading where the opponents are hitting the overhead, and he'll throw a lot of, so he can get a quick start in, he'll throw a lot of feints in as well, meaning he'll fake like he's blitzing, and then he'll move back, stay back.
Like Morgan misread that ball.
Completely.
High formation. There you see we talked about, Brad, just a lot of soft balls to the Frazier forehand, really challenging him.
Yep, that's the idea. There it goes. Whenever they're going to be in trouble, that's going to be their go-to. Deep to the Frazier forehand, slow. He's going to have to hit some. Oh, it's just so
Oh,
quick.
what a get!
That's good. He changed his grip. He took it to an Eastern backhand, actually. Flipped the edge of the paddle underneath it. It's amazing.
I think that bounced off the snowboard.
Those are great down the line lobs.
A little ambitious there.
30.
He got a high ball. He was moving forward. He knew it was coming. It's certainly not his number one go-to shot, that backhand, but
Don't mind that there. Don't want to see it at 4-5 in the third.
yeah, I think if you're talking about that scenario, you go with the best shots you got, right?
Yep. And there we see the first backhand Tyler Frazier's hit after 30 balls to his forehand.
Yeah, we're not going to see many more either. You know, but so far on the early going, Mark, we're seeing Morgan and Frazier absolutely willing to play good long points and grind it out here. They're not speeding anything up. They're not even trying to. He's not even looking for blitzes. He's not moving. He's staying still, going to wait for a right opportunity. Now, we still think this tempo will, if anything, favor, you know, Kaler and Rams, but as long as Frazier and Morgan don't implode, they probably have more offense, you know, than Kaler and Rams.
And isn't that the case more often than not when Scott Kaler plays?
1-0.
Absolutely. I mean, Scott Kaler's, you know, been a semifinalist in Nationals. He's been a top player for a lot of years. But the thing that stops him from breaking through to the next level, really, is that the other top players just got a little more offense, and they feel comfortable. They can wait him out. They know that if anything happens, they can actually stay mentally tough, stay in the point longer, get him to try and hit a ball, and they just got a little more on the return and a little more on certain spots, you know, from the offensive perspective.
What a get from Rams. Yeah, and let's be clear, that level above Scott is a very small level. There are not a lot of guys in that level. I mean, he made semis nationals a couple years ago.
Yep, absolutely. You know.
Okay, back to live action. That's great overhead,
ball.
great pace.
He's going to have to start. If they're going to keep doing it, that's 2 balls that have gone into the snowboard. If it's starting to get a little wet out there, they're going to have to start half volleying some of these balls. picking them up on the rise, which is tricky, but it's going to be the play they're going to have to develop.
Well, we pretty clearly saw the Kayla Rams strategy in the first game. We're going to do a lot of dumping into the Fraser forehand. Let's see what we find out here from Fraser Morgan at the net. Well, that was an interesting ball that Philippe Rams didn't hit there, because I was expecting him to unleash the forehand.
Oh, that's beautiful placement. 2 forehands. Wow.
And that's the ball Adam Morgan's got to be careful of.
Because Kaler is right on the net. Morgan's too deep in the court, and I agree with you. The shot there, Kaler almost wants you to drive that ball.
Yes.
You know, because you're going to miss a percentage. The other percentage, he's going to be right there to volley offensively down.
I know we've worked on being decisive, but I wouldn't say almost wants you to drive the ball. He definitely wants you to drive that ball.
That's a beautiful ball. Perfect setup, and he fell right into it. He's hitting that a little too hard and down right to the Rams forefoot. Rams didn't have to take a single step to hit that thing.
$15-40.
And it's interesting because serve has become such a big part of the men's game. Not that you have a big serve, but that you don't fault, because you just can't give these points away.
Oh, great get there from Rams. That's a nice ball there from Fraser. Long cut right at the body. He's got to move out of the way, then the spin cuts it to the side wire. Still another break point, though.
And just to remind our viewers, there will be regular scoring, so this is a 30-40 point, followed by a deuce, not a deciding point.
Deuce.
Oh.
Ed Kaler.
And those donations oftentimes determine who win or lose matches.
Sure do. Watch the neck there. Good shot there from Morgan, trying to see if he can find that crease.
Great controlled offense from Rams.
Yep, he's picking his spots on his forehand. He's got a good slippery forehand. Oh, and Fraser with just a couple of little misses there in that game.
They lead the first set.
And there you saw Kaler sneaking in, taking that ball early, kind of slapping it down.
Yeah. I'm seeing Rams get way too many forehands in this early going here, Mark.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were trying to do at the net that game, Brad.
Yep.
15-love.
And Morgan's going to have to return really well on that sidearm serve with Kaler at the net in order to facilitate that blitz for Fraser.
Yeah. I mean, at that time it was Rams coming in and just hitting a beautiful volley. Got right up on top of the net.
And here they're going back to the Fraser forehand.
That's one of the things actually with Kaler too. He's so tall. You know, he's got to be 6'3", 6'4". You know, that he can cover the net without reaching compared to some other players. You know, he really just he puts his paddle out, covers a lot more real estate. He gets right on top. That's the ball right there. They got it at his feet, got him off the net. Nice combination.
Misses that one wide. Good blitz there from
15-30.
Frazier. Brad, if you were lining up to play against Kayla Rams, what would your strategy be?
I'd play 3-4 games and fake an injury. No, I would. I would absolutely. If I'm playing Kayla and Rams, the first key is to realize you're going to be playing a battle. So you can't do that type of shot right there that we just saw.
Right, too deep in the court.
So the first step is going to be mental. You got to realize that you're in the battle, and you got to be able to play some points where you're playing as tough mentally as they are. See, like there's 2 or 3 blitzes, neither one's a decent opportunity, and he gets burned both times. And then the second thing is, you're going to have to find a way to make sure, because they can't kill you. You keep the ball away from the Rams' forehand. You have to recognize they can't kill you. They have 2 offensive shots. They have the Kaler close-in volley. It's not that Kaler can't hit a drive. He can. But it's just, it's not that killer type of drive. And they got the Rams' forehand. Keep the ball away from those spots. And then realize you're in a battle. And if they can realize that too, at some point they'll have some opportunity balls, like for Frazier to hit a cut overhead, play the ball at the crease.
Deuce.
And that's what you have to worry about a little bit with Rams there. Just trying to do too much.
But you wouldn't say it was a bad opportunity to hit a drop. But that's part of the mental game. If you show them that, they have to take their chances to win a point and you're not going to give it to them, you'll get a few errors out of them. I'd also like to see Morgan and Frazier do some switching in the backcourt. Throw them some different looks. Because right now, they're so comfortable just dumping the ball right to Frazier's forehand. And any chance he's had to move forward, they've already seen it coming. They volleyed behind from an offensive position. The net.
This would be a big game for Morgan Frazier to pull out. Frazier Morgan.
Yeah, they just got to get a foothold, right?
Yeah, that's a really good comment, Brad. That foothold in any match is so important.
They're just so safe hitting the ball deep and straight up the middle. And unless Frazier and Morgan make them less safe, this is definitely a tempo that's going to favor Kaler and Rams. That's a good point. He's backing away, taking the big strike. They actually love that because even if he makes it, odds are pretty good they're going to just let it go off the back screen. They'll still hold the net by driving it back.
Yep, that's exactly what Scott Kaler wanted when he hit that shot.
That's a great ball right in there into the corner.
Game.
You just don't see any ability so far of Frazier Morgan to generate their own offense from the backcourt.
Well, they also have to lob with a little more intention and combinations. To me, it just looks like they're hitting the ball up in the air. It's not like we're going to lob, like precisely moving this player back. Now, when you have a certain player back, now the openings happen to a specific place. Also, in fairness, just Kayla Rams playing completely error-free, giving him nothing right now. But that's why Frazier and Morgan have to be that much more strategic. They're going to have to open the court up at the net to get their strikes. And right now, how many strikes have they had? Have they hit any offensive shot with any meaning?
Not really. A couple return of serves, that was it. No,
Yeah.
Brad, having a right-hander in the...
Thanks, David.
Without that real threat in the middle from the forehand, I mean, is that a hard thing to do? I mean, obviously Mark Parsons does it, but it's a rarity, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, you bring up Parsons. Parsons' forehand is not bad. It is just not as good as his backhand. It's still a pretty good shot. He can spot it well. It's not like you can just dump it to Parsons' forehand. Frazier definitely, he's going to have to develop some form of threat on that ball, whether he even just takes the ball on the rise and pops up a lob quickly every now and then to create a little tempo change. There's going to have to be some threat there down the road.
It's an important game for Frazier Morgan to get the toe hold that you described earlier.
Sure. But they, the biggest thing right now to me is just hold serve one time. I mean, I think the biggest reason they're down here, if they just held serve, right? We're just talking about an even match here. We're not talking about down a break, right? Keep it away from that Rams forehand. Balance the point properly into the backcourt so they're not getting the looks, Kayla and Rams. Switch at the net from Frazier and Morgan.
Well, that ball looked pretty bald that went through there, didn't it, Brad?
I think it's completely bald, Mark. I think, they're going to switch every 7 games. We're on 3 right now, and there's literally not an ounce of fuzz left on it.
And where are you on that? Some people think that the baldness of the ball is better in the bad weather, that it doesn't absorb as much moisture. Oh, great forehand there from Rams.
You know what? It doesn't. There's certainly no question. Yeah, I kind of agree.
The player that Frazier, I think, should be emulating is Graham McNerney, because Graham does not have the biggest forehand in the middle, but he finds other ways to generate offense from the backcourt, whether it's lobbing or blitzing. And to date, we have not seen much of that from Tyler Frazier.
Well, McNerney does an exceptional job of standing in, occasionally taking a lob early, moving it around, getting the people to speed up their play with their overheads by, forcing it. But it's also still, if you were talking about, an area where people are going to go at McNerney, they'll try to make him beat him with a forehand too. Yeah. That's not the best look there from Rams, but that's good. They made him hit a deep ball in the court, and he took it. So good job. Just don't give him those ones where he's standing still and stepping forward.
There's that slap forehand from Kaler. Reminds me a little bit of Mike Stulax.
A little bit, yeah. So the racket hits up. He's got a continental grip, just hitting it straight down and flat.
Here they're switch sides, which is what you talked about earlier, Brad, which at least takes away that middle of the court. Well, Kaler just dumps it to the forehand anyway.
Yeah, but I would not mind seeing. See, they got a lob. If I am Morgan and Frazier, I'm like, okay, here's where we're going to place these lobs. This is what I'm going to be looking for. And when we get it, we're going to take it if it's there, right? They're fishing around back there. They're just looking, they're just fishing around. And
30.
Kayla and Rams just doing a great job. That's a good
I thought that was the right ball to swing at for Morgan, just completely mishit it.
On one level, I agree with you, Mark. On another, did it look like he was set up for it and looking for it?
Yeah, he was a little late getting in position.
Yeah, because they're not lobbing to a specific place and looking for a ball. He wasn't already setting his forehand and looking for that shot and taking it early. He was 4 feet behind the baseline, and he was just like, oh, I can hit that ball. And then by the time he did it, just wasn't the right ball.
They are really on their heels right now.
Yes, good job. I mean, the great thing about it, we got 3 full sets here. We all know 1 or 2 changes Can make all the difference in the world. Rams got that smooth forehand, Rams. How long would you say Rams have been playing sort of near at this top? About 4 years now?
Yeah, I'd say 3-4 years.
Yeah, 4 years, maybe a couple of years with Casey Watts.
And this has been a real breakthrough season for him.
Yep.
Win over Hughes Powers.
Yeah, early season Hughes Powers, and they took it out in a great win against Fever and Humphreys in that Darien Open.
Great playing from Kaler there.
40.
I mean, it was just a great play all around. You know, they kept each ball in play. They took the strikes when they were there. Finally, you get a weak ball. You find a little seam in the volley defense there, and the short ball comes. I mean, it's essentially error-free paddle right now for Rams and Kaler. Oh, and there's an error.
30, 40.
Great rip. That's just great playing from Rams.
Kaler Rams, they lead the first set 4-0.
It's a pretty good start. I mean, you know, error-free paddle.
Pretty good start.
Pretty good start, Mark. You know, error-free paddle from Rams and Kaler. And right now, I like this fact that they're, you know, Frazier and Morgan are taking a moment here. They're a little lost.
Well, Brad, I have a question. What would be a great start?
You know, that's a pretty good start. You know, I'm feeling superlatives, Mark. Here you go.
The other team gets injured in the first game. That would be a great start.
Love 15.
That's an amazing start and a great finish. Now I want to see Frazier. See, if Frazier hits that down the line lob, if he wants to get his backhand involved, well, that's a great play. Well done. His first one that he snuck in on, and Kaler had no idea he was coming.
And there, Rams has got to give him a warning. I mean, it's not a surprise that Frazier's looking to blitz.
100%. But you got Frazier hitting this amazing down the line lob. Move yourself to the middle of the court. Set up your backhand. Look for a ball that you can hit. You know, squeeze certain parts of the court when you're hitting lobs to certain places.
Because without that movement, it becomes very easy to hit the overheads.
Right. We're not seeing any backcourt shifting or movement into position for them looking for balls in that backcourt.
Great get there from Rams, keeping him in the point.
And what I mean is just the basics of lobbing the ball, say, down the line or cross court and sliding over to a certain position. Once you know that your opponent can't hit the ball deep into a screen to a certain spot or to a corner screen, you can freely move over.
3 opportunities to get on the board. Frazier Morgan.
It'd be huge just to do that. So
15, 40.
Reached for that ball.
Yeah, it seemed to be a little confusion there.
Frazier Morgan.
But they're playing an I formation. Kaler comes in behind Rams, which means he's got to go to the line. But it's as if he didn't know he was supposed to go to the line. You know,
like the signal's wrong.
Yep.
Okay, they are on the board. Let's see if they can hold serve.
There's a better returning game there for Frazier and Morgan, so good job.
We played with that one for 6th game, so that was the warm-up, wasn't it? So then
I don't know why they're switching balls. Usually it's 6 games, not 5.
You should be waiting for one more game.
Yeah, I don't think Jay Goldman majored in math, though.
One more game?
College.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. That's it. They right the ship there, switching balls on the next game.
Jay was a business major at Xavier.
We'll go one more.
Didn't take any accounting classes.
No accounting classes. Oh, great shot. That's just money.
15 love.
That's a beautiful lob there from Rams. Sets his paddle low, chases down, hits it straight up.
Little guest appearance there from Tyler Frazier.
Yeah.
You do not want to hit that waterfall overhead normally to Scott Kaler, although it looked like his feet were kind of anchored to the ground there.
Yeah, he wasn't dunking that ball.
Normally he's terrific at punishing those.
He just mistimed his move, mistimed his jump.
And that's exactly what you're talking about, Brad, where you saw Philippe Rams slide over to his left, present the forehand after the lob, which is what we're not seeing too much of from Frazier Morgan.
That's a great lob from that position. That's also a terrific lob. Great recognition.
And you watch Rams, when he hits that lob, when he hits the down-the-line lob, he moves to the middle. When he hits the cross-court lob, he moves to the side wire.
Yeah, it's kind of a basic scenario, and just beautifully done from Kaler and Rams there. You know, Frazier Morgan trying to create something up at the net by hitting it hard in various spots, but Kaler Rams just lobbing it to the right spot, looking for the drive. Eventually, that overhead gets played too fast, and they get a spot where there's an opening at the net. Great job.
That was textbook lobbing. Jerry Vian would have been proud of that.
Textbook stuff, absolutely. And, you know,
again, too much movement from Tyler Frazier there.
Yeah, it's too much movement. It's like they're searching for a way to break them down when they actually, I think they know the way. They just haven't kind of accessed it yet.
Like, I don't understand that hard overhead there from Adam Morgan. It's just that's what Kaler wants. That's how he generates his pace.
Right. If you give him a hard ball, he's a good screen driver. If you dump it to him with no pace, you're relatively safe. I mean, he was hitting it hard at the crease, but they're gaining nothing from these harder ones yet. And you had mentioned before, you know, Rams play is going to be important in this match. He's just been lights out, you know, with how he's approaching it, shots he's playing.
And there, Frazier again, just overly aggressive.
Well, he had a beautiful ball before. He had Rams diving for the ball a little, and then he goes extra hard, which actually gave him an opportunity.
Rams again fails to let Kaler know on the blitz, but he sees it coming.
30-40.
30-40. Point for 5-1.
Had a decent volley look that time, but he's had so few of them.
Kaler just makes no mistakes at all.
Oh, that's just such a good drive.
Frazier's so good in those transition points.
Oh, airmail.
Wow. That was pretty ugly, that forehand.
Kaler Rams. They lead.
That's the type of forehand you expect to see from Scott Kaler, not Adam Morgan.
We're ready for another ball.
I love Jay going up in the chair. You know, he's ready for another ball. That's right. And you see the court there. We got some dry spots, a little wet spots. It's not too bad.
The ball doesn't appear to be sliding. I think the courts were resurfaced recently.
and it's not too bad. It's only, you know, sparse bit of snow. I don't think there's going to be any accumulation in the Cincinnati area. You know, it's a great spot.
Great lob from Caleb. Again, look at all the movement you're seeing from Fraser Morgan.
So he switches it there, leaves a seam on the line. Now, it's just those little seams that they're opening up with the hard overheads. Oh,
Morgan got away with that one.
Well, it was a good one. For some reason, I don't know why, Rams actually moved to the inside quickly there. I don't know if he was looking to, anticipating a ball to the inside, looking for a forehand, but he pulled himself out of position. You know, here's the point where, you know, we've talked about this a bunch of times before, Mark. You know, you don't worry about winning the set. You just start worrying about finding the right tempo, the right way to play. Play some really good points. Make them work to finish this set out. And find the way to get a good game in there. You don't worry. You're not going to win. Or, you know, you can, of course, but you're not likely to win this set. But you can find the right type of rhythm. And if you do, well, you know, that's the whole thing.
Well, if they don't find that rhythm, then they're going to be shaking hands pretty soon.
Yeah.
And you just see how comfortable Kayla Rams are at the net. They're just not feeling under any pressure at all.
Well, you know, they know the dump place, you know, where they're going to dump it there, the Fraser forehand, and
there you see Kayla kind of baiting Fraser into driving that ball.
He is. As well he should be. I mean, like, you know, it's the right play. That's just, I mean, it worked actually once in the first game of the match. And he goes for it again.
But that's the shot he shouldn't be playing at 5-1. That goes against exactly what you said about finding some rhythm, finding some play, because he's not going to build an offense on that.
Correct. He's not winning the match on a cut slash. I wouldn't even call it a drive. I'm not really sure what you would call it exactly. It's a version of a drive. Cut slash off pace drive. That's not gonna be the one that takes him to the finish line.
And that takes us to double set point.
15.
Yeah, just a beautiful set, you know, by Kayla Rams, and it can be lost sometimes when you see a set like this, because you don't go, you know, look at all that crazy stuff they did. Just they missed no balls. They put every ball where they wanted it to. They had tactics. They literally made.
They win the first set.
3 unforced errors.
And that forehand was just airmailed by Tyler Fraser. Brad, we should take a moment to thank one of our national sponsors, Viking. Viking has an unrivaled paddle lineup depth, 3 paddle families, each family featuring 3 models, the Pro, the Light, and the Prodigy. 9 adult paddles with different weights, core densities, and overall hitting surfaces to address all levels of play. Vibrant gradients and a bold, modern color palette lead the way for the upcoming season. All paddles are hand-painted, giving each its own unique look. No gimmicks, just the best ball-striking paddles in the game, the official paddles of the APTA. So, Brad, what do you think we need to see from Fraser Morgan here to turn this thing around?
Well, you can just go back to the Viking keys of success a little bit. They have 0% chance. Well, 0% chance, that's the wrong thing. They were not able to control any of the tempo in the first set. They were not able to get any blitz points. So what they're going to have to do to find their way into these things is lob better with more purpose and move to set up their offense and take the strikes when they get them. If they can get the ball down to the service line and get them hitting the ball up, and that's going to be where it's going to live for them. I mean, you can always look. It's not likely that Rams and Kayla will play as error-free a set. I mean, they literally didn't miss many balls at all.
But in fairness to them, Brad, there wasn't any pressure put on them to miss balls.
Yeah, there really wasn't. You know, and they also didn't, in the beginning, they didn't do a great job keeping the ball away from the Rams' forehand. They definitely do not have, like, we know what the go-to is for Rams and Kaler, right, Mark? What have you seen from Frazier and Morgan that indicates they have an idea of how they want these points to go or where they want to place the ball?
Absolutely nothing, Bradford. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the second set of the final.
From this website, we really want to make learning easy. We know that paddle can be a lot. When you're out there, you're thinking of hitting the ball, you're thinking of the screens, you're thinking of your technique. There's a lot of things going on. So we want to break things up into bite-sized pieces that make it easy for you to digest, easy for you to learn, and then easy for you to implement in your game. That is our goal.
I'm Johan Durant, and this is my paddle.
All right, so welcome back to our men's final round action at the Midwesterns on the APTA network, brought to you by eNet Live. And Mark, that was just a tremendous show there from Rams and Kaler. As we talked about a bit off air, you know, it's what we expected from them. Terrific tactics, brought, you know, also with some error-free play. And I like this moment here that we're seeing just in the beginning of the start of this match here, where you see Frazier and Morgan talking about it. I'd like to see them use some lobs in combination now, because they're not getting any blitz looks. And unless Frazier is going to magically start hitting that forehand, they're going to have to find a different way to get some offense.
Yeah, you just saw no strategy from them in the first set whatsoever. They were just kind of out there hitting the ball.
All right.
Here we go. Tyler Frazier to serve to Scott Kaler, set number 2.
But the great thing about it, it's a brand new set, and you're starting off
Love 15.
fresh. You just got to have a short memory, except just remind yourself about how you're winning and losing the points so you can really start to come up with the right plan.
But you better start playing better fast.
For sure.
And these first couple of games are just critical in this match. The body language from Frazier Morgan was not good at the end of that second set.
So
Into the first set.
Good look there from Rams. Just dumps it in the net, but he snuck over. He had the look. And that's what we're going to count on, too. You know, the quickest way and the best way to get back into matches, your opponents start actually missing a couple of balls. Now, I do not by any means think that was a bad look from,
Rams.
from Rams, but, but he missed it.
Worth mentioning, Scott Kaler is one of our defending champions. Our other one, unfortunately, Brian Compton, is off playing golf in Florida. Again, you see Kaler Rams just really controlling the play. A lot of soft, slow overheads. Virtually no offense being generated from the backcourt from Frazier Morgan. Kaler lets that one drop and misses it.
15. $30-15.
Really think this first game is a critical game for Frazier Morgan. Oh, great ball, through ball there
40.
from Frazier, and they get 15.
Game. Fraser Morgan. They lead the second set 1-0.
And that's exactly what they needed to
won
do.
The first set 6-1.
Good solid game from those guys. Best way to stem the tide. Okay, Scott Kaler to serve. To Adam Morgan. Okay, we're going to have a guest appearance by Jerry Vion. Brad's having some technical difficulties, which I think means he needed to walk his dog, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. Like, that was a good deep lob from Tyler Frazier. Could have taken a step to the middle, looked for the backhand, but he didn't, and then he shovels a forehand long. You just don't see any intent. You don't see any intent from him looking for that backhand right now. Oh, that ball was flying. I just don't see anything different. There's a blitz from Frazier, but I don't see anything different that they're presenting from the backcourt. Looking to generate offense. You don't see them lobbing and moving. There's Frazier looking for the backhand, takes a good cut at it. Motion from Frazier.
15-all.
A little confusion in the net there from Kayla Rams. This is the serve. Well, just a reminder of viewers, first set to Kayla Rams, and it's love 1, 15-30 in the second set. Great through ball there from Morgan. Oh, great cut winner from Frazier. All of a sudden you've seen some life from these guys.
15-40.
Hey, Mark. I'm going to
Brad,
welcome myself
is it true
back.
that you got to walk the dog or not?
I was in the doghouse. No, I just a little technical difficulty there. A little technical sabotage.
Well, while you were gone, the match seems to have shifted a little bit.
game.
That's terrific for
Fraser
Fraser and Morgan. So there's
they
2 in
lead
a
the
row,
second
huh?
set, 2 games to
Yep.
0. Kayla Roms won the first one, 6-1.
A couple unforced errors from Kayla Roms, as you kind of predicted, and level dropped a little bit. A couple good points from Fraser Morgan.
That's just a couple of great opportunity balls, and if they can find their way. And did the level drop at all yet from Rams and Kaler?
Yeah, a little bit. Didn't play. Made a couple unforced errors.
That's all you need sometimes, right? That's a great lob. That's just
great play.
Beautiful, beautiful ball. But the chip
Love 15.
down to bring Fraser back in, then the quick lob up, and he spots his forehand nicely, Rams.
Very smooth, very effective. Had him off the net, just misses that forehand.
15
Well, that's
all.
the number one thing. If their level drops a little, it starts to affect a little, and that's huge because they didn't miss one of those in the first set. And it was not a bad look from Kaler.
See how many of these overheads that Fraser's hitting from outside the service box are both feet on Morgan's side of the court, like this one. Both.
Yeah, it's a really good shot. Rams is lobbing down the line very well.
See where they're really opening up the court with the lobbing.
Yeah, you see, I was about to actually mention that. He lobbed Morgan down the, cross court. Kaler did. Then he sees Morgan gets back and he knows he's not going to drive, so he doesn't go cross court again with Morgan off the net. He goes right down the line, trying to push both of them off the net at one time. It's a nice combination.
And there you see him hit that good cross-court lob and then slide over to his left, looking to hit the forehand. We haven't seen much of from Fraser Morgan.
Not yet.
Here comes Kaler. Cover from Rams.
Great cover and a great call from Fraser. You can hear him saying, hit.
Goes deep.
And telling his partner that the blitz is coming.
30-15.
Big point there as Kaler misses that lob. 30-15. Little late with the move there by Rams.
40.
Misses it wide.
15.
And he saw Fraser's move, and I think he was aiming to the middle, and then he tried to pull it down the line. And just couldn't execute.
See anything different from Fraser Morgan, Brad?
Not so much. Just, they've gotten a couple of errors now, and that's really it. I mean, they're just, the Kaler Rams level has
Fraser
dropped.
Morgan.
Fraser Morgan are capitalizing.
The second
But
set,
that was
3
in that
games
game.
to
I
0.
didn't see them return the other ones.
Kayla Roms won the first set.
Shut out there for a couple of games.
To 1.
I mean, how about you, Mark?
No, it seems like more of the same, just the drop in level from Kayla Rams. I mean, some better overheads at the net from Fraser Morgan. But really more of the same.
You know, but the good thing is, hey, you know, Kayla Rams played a pretty flawless first set. They literally did not miss a ball. But there you saw a missed drive from Kaler, not necessarily a bad ball, a missed drive from Rams where he tried to pull it down the line, and then a missed lob. So, you know, you're going to get those. You're going to have success.
Yeah, a lot of it started in that first game. We had Rams had that real good look on the second point after winning the first, and he just missed it. It was right ball to swing at.
Yep.
There's some of that reach you talked about from Kaler.
A couple of backhands there from Frazier, and then they switch the ball cross court, and it gets
15.
them all out of whack at the net there. They can't control that. That ball probably was going long, but they're getting caught in a switch. Hard to stay off of that.
That will look like it's
15-all.
skidded. And that service box looks pretty dry. That's probably the driest spot in the court.
It's a good shot. It definitely took Frazier by surprise.
I know we talked about in previous matches about having multiple serves, and you're seeing it from Philippe Rams here, serving overhand to Frazier and sidearm to Morgan.
And we'll see that become more and more common.
Righties just really like to serve to that ad court. That's just a natural motion for them, that spin serve into the side wire.
Yeah, the righty spin bites to the right, so you can spin it in there so it cuts in and jams the opponent over there in the outside. But it cuts to the middle of the court on the deuce side, so it's much harder to gain the same kind of effect over there. That's why they're going to the underhand serve to the deuce side. There's a good move from Frazier and a well-placed lob that time. Great job.
They caught Kaler looking to see if it was in or not, as opposed to watching Tyler.
15-30.
Just got a text from Dave Broderick, who's watching the live stream. Terrific pro down at Fiddler's Elbow in New Jersey. He says you can definitely notice Rams getting less forehands to work with now. And the ones he's taken, even if they're good looks, he just missed a couple, whereas he literally missed none at the beginning. Oh, snuck it at his feet there. I thought Ramos was going to close.
40.
Once he backed up, it became a very dicey situation. So, chance for 4-love here for Fraser Morgan.
Big return there. Yeah, see, that's the ball he's got to put back in play. That's too aggressive for my taste.
30. 40. Deep.
Fault, and it's 4-love. Just amazing how the momentum changes on so
Game.
little, Brad.
It's so little.
Fraser
you know,
Morgan, they
they're
lead 4-0.
couple of misses, couple of makes, and just like an energy drop. That ball's going out, but Frazier can't get out of the way. And now we're just seeing misses sort of
15
compound
love.
themselves, right?
Just remarkable to watch. Just Gio comments that she thinks
Wide.
that Flip taking his pants off was the turning point of the match.
15 all.
You know, he's moving too quickly now. A little less drag. Not able to compensate. Yeah. It's actually funny. There are some players who are very superstitious about a lot of things, Mark. I was never one of those guys. But, you know, have to eat a meal at a certain time or have to tie your shoes a certain way.
You mean like Jerry Vion?
Very superstitious.
With her favorite clothes and her favorite energy drink and her favorite snack and her favorite way to change sides.
30-15.
Imagine getting in the middle of that, upsetting that routine. What do you think would happen?
And I know how you are about that, Brad. I remember the year you brought 2 separate paddles to charities.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one was mine.
Didn't bother your partner at all.
I was trying to bring a certain level of unpredictability to the game, Mark.
Successfully, I might add.
And where the unpredictability comes from, it comes from me or them. It's just unpredictability.
Oh, Kaler completely mishits that
15.
forehand.
Yep.
Which is honestly not that unusual. Sure looks like we're heading 3 here, Brad.
I mean, it's just a tale of 2 sets, right? I mean, I still see that Rams and Kaler lobbing reasonably well. They're just literally, they haven't made a look they've had right now. You know, every look they've had, they just missed. I mean, that wasn't seemingly that difficult a ball from Kaler. You know, just.
Great scene. And the snow's really picking up. Just a great scene at Hyde Park. A lot of fans watching in the hut outside.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's only so much you can do in that regard these days, right? That's a nice ball. There's a couple of good spotted balls. Tyler Frazier reads that ball perfectly, but
40-30.
a little too much to handle.
Another point for 5-love. Look, fault. Oh, called good.
No, it was in. Just tipped the net right to the back of the line. Nice adjustment there from Rams.
And just like you talked in the first set, Brad, it's not imperative that Kaler Rams win this set, but it is imperative they start playing some better points. Oh, great forehand there from Rams.
Yeah, terrific. I mean, they just missed. You know, for as flawless as they were in the first set, you know, they're just missing balls. And they're definitely, Frazier and Morgan have definitely done a better job keeping away from the Rams for him. But like I said, he's had a couple looks, he's just missed them. And so has Kaler. There's really not an appreciable change in strategy from either team. Just level drops. Still going to work the middle of the court, make Frazier beat him with the forehand. Just going to keep doing it time and time again. I mean,
great blitz.
Oh, he missed it wide, and a great job. He tried to jump that route. He easily could have had it off the side
Frazier
screen.
Morgan, they lead.
I like the
Second
aggressiveness
set,
from Frazier. You
5
see a little more
games to
blitzing,
0.
using his hands, using his
Kaler
speed around the
Rams
court.
won the first set 6 games to 1.
He's been trying the whole match, and we all know that's part of his, you know, his repertoire and part of his skill set. Just had a, you know, good blitz there in that one, and definitely Frazier Ramsden caught on there. I mean, You know, Kayla Rams have been caught on their heels a little bit more than they have been in the first set. Missing the drives they're getting, so quick 5-love lead here. And it either started with the pants coming off or just with that kind of like in the first game as you were talking about before, Mark.
Got Kayla doing wind sprints from side to side. Finally got forehand to swing at. Okay, back to live action.
I mean, how many drives have we seen Adam Morgan hit today?
Not a lot.
Rams cannot get caught off the net half volleying those balls. He's got to start
15 love.
getting ready to close in. I don't know if he's starting to tire a little bit, but that's 2 or 3 balls now I've seen go right at Rams' feet. I mean, they're good dinks, but that's going to play right into Frazier's hands. There's another. A couple of good looks from Morgan. Not in position for that one.
15 all. $15.30.
15-40, and definitely an energy level drop here from Rams and Kaler. You know, the good thing is you got a whole fresh start in the third set, so we've seen it so many times before, Mark, where a team just completely lays an egg in one set, and then all of a sudden just that new set, and it's just a completely different turn of events in the next one. What I love, actually, that I'm seeing more out of Frazier, too, if you notice, do you think he's cutting more overheads or less overheads, Mark?
Fewer.
Yeah, a lot fewer. He's going to a flat push, so he knows where and no matter how good you are at cutting the overhead, your control is always going to be better with a flat push. And he's getting more direction, more control out of it. And as a consequence, there's less action. So he's actually... It's not that he's slowing down the play, but he is to some degree slowing down the play a little bit because he's giving less looks
30
to Rams over there
40.
by holding it and hitting that flat push in there. So it's a great, great move. So set point number 3 here, I guess. It was love 40, yeah. And there it is.
Game set. Frazier Morgan win the second set.
So what's your feeling on the third, Brad?
6 games to 0.
Oh, my feeling on the third set is we'll see who executes better. You know, it's absolutely just a tale of execution, you know. So
Who do you like?
I'm going to go back to the Kayla Rams, but because I got to figure out, as well as they executed in the first set, they will not execute that bad in the second. They didn't make it. They didn't miss one in the first, and they didn't make one there in the second. So
yeah, that was a pretty ugly second set they played.
And so what about you, Mark? Where's your pick?
I got to like Kayla Rams. I think they've got a clear strategy as to how to play.
6,
I think they allowed Frazier Morgan
13.
back into that match from the second set, and I expect them to play a much solider third set.
So why don't we talk about one of our sponsors, Fusion Sports. You know, and Fusion Sports is your source for high-end custom apparel. Fusion offers pro shop management, tournament favors, corporate branded gear, and youth sports.
7th game.
Fusion is the official apparel and favor supplier of the APTA. So, I think they definitely let him in. I think, Frazier definitely was smart in instead of going for more cut overheads and speeding up the play and trying to continually attack, Rams over there, he went with a more controlled overhead where he could have more understanding of what the shot was coming back. So that was a good thing. But, you look at that scoreboard, funny, 6-1, then 6-love right back. So.
Well, we'll play one set for the 2020-21 Midwesterns Championship.
Yep.
Hit it around.
Not seeing any dry spots in that court either, Brad.
No, the snow definitely started up again towards that last couple of games of that second set, and there are no dry spots.
All right.
Okay, Adam Morgan to serve to start the third. Sloppy miss from Frazier, first point, which is exactly the opposite of what you just pointed out, Brad. You're seeing fewer cuts. Morgan's got one of the best sidearm serves around. He very rarely faults.
He gets it in almost every time. He does a decent job holding the net.
And one of the first to embrace the sidearm serve completely. See two fast errors from Frazier Morgan to start the third set. Exactly the thing you don't want to do.
Sure. I mean, you can't go off and say that lob was amazing. It's just an error. It's all about execution at this point. And maybe
right, both those misses, balls you'd expect them to make 99 times out of 100?
Sure. Yeah. And you can't get rid of any thoughts on who might focus. To me, I can't tell if it's a mental error or just an error, but the ability to have mental toughness in this game is going to be huge,
Great spin over there from Frazier. Wins the point.
Yeah. Now, Rams need to get way back behind that. He got a little flummoxed. Great first volley there from Morgan. It was a good blitz look from Kaler, but just terrific first volley.
There you see Frazier looking to get his overhead in the middle.
Yeah, but he's just going to keep it a little lower, keep doing the push. But I see that, to me, if the more he starts doing that, the higher the ball's going to go, the more looks Rams is going to get. He's got to keep that ball lower. He's got to make sure Rams cannot hit a down drive. Go. That's the one. Because they won that set by getting Rams and Kaler to make some errors and not setting them up for looks, or setting up for less looks, we'll say. Terrific down the line lobs. And you don't see Rams. He hasn't made a single move to a sidewire in a long time. Good. Finally got
good move there.
Good, easy look there. Actually, it was kind of right to him. I don't see him move at all. So, terrific ball. Nice start here for Kaler Rams. Let's see if they can turn the tide here. They're losing
but
6 in a row.
Third consecutive error from Frazier Morgan. Third error in 4 points.
Yep. They're doing a lot of when they go cross court over there to the Kaler backhand. You don't get Morgan coming over, so there are definitely some spots that open up in the court for drives. The question is, Frazier is so quick, he can close them quickly. You'll see other teams sort of do it like that too. You'll see Durant and Mitchell do that, where Mitchell will stay over where Adam Morgan is. And he'll stay there a lot. He doesn't move to the center when they flip the ball to the other side. And they just let Durant sort of cover the entire 2/3 by himself.
That court and the next court as well. But there you see Philippe Rams getting caught in the backcourt. Lob's getting a little short and getting exploited back there. He's got to lob a little better. Big point right here. Oh.
Ooh.
Game.
And to me,
Taylor Rom.
I don't know if he's lost a step, but does he seem as energetic or as, like he's hitting them and setting them up the way he was in the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it may be energy. It may be the fact that his lobs aren't as good, but clearly it's not the same player we saw the first set.
But nonetheless, that's their first game after going 6 straight in the second for Fraser Morgan. So Kayla Ram's exactly what they need starting off this third set.
Yeah, it's what we talked about, Brad. It's just that drop in level. I mean, that was a game. Kayla Rams didn't win that game. Fraser Morgan lost the game.
Yep. There's no question.
As Kayla starts off with a fault.
I mean, faults happen, but the errors do compile themselves when the focus of the energy goes. You see he's pushing his paddle. We should mention that. It's been around freezing the whole day. And now with the more snow going out there, every time they hit that ball, water's coming off it on the paddle. And if it's of a certain temperature, right around freezing, that water can actually freeze on your paddle.
Yep, and when you get that ice on your paddle, the ball just kind of rolls down your paddle.
Yeah, if you try to cut it or spin it in any way other than hit it dead flat, the ball would just slide. I mean, ice is pretty much the most frictionless surface we have out here, the planet. So it's
great dig there from Kaler.
Oh.
Yeah, Viking used to have a little de-icer that I used to keep in my pocket and scratch off your paddle. Of course, it takes the grip with it too.
Yep, but back in the day, they actually did come in handy. I mean, to be honest, there has been a noticeable change in the amount of times you get the iced paddle compared to the old days, as we say. But
and the fault that Adam Morgan threw in the last game clearly looked like icing on the paddle as that ball just kind of dove into the bottom of the net.
Yeah, he didn't make it halfway up barely, and I think a few of these errors are going to be that now.
Be interesting to see because that ball was dead. Because Scott Kaler, the way Scott impacts his forehand, that flat forehand that we talked about, would be really effective in this type of weather. Morgan turning the heaters back on.
He absolutely should. I would have done that earlier when the snow started, or maybe it was on before, but just probably works on a timer and shut itself back off.
30-40, big point early in the set.
30-40.
Fraser Morgan don't want to let the Love 40 game get away. Yeah, there Kaler kind of jumps in front of Rams. He's unable to handle the Morgan forehand, and 1-all. Pair of donations to start.
1 game apiece.
Big ball there from Morgan. Yeah, and Morgan really, he's got mostly one speed. He just brings the heat.
Yes.
He doesn't hit that off-pace drive. He doesn't.
No disguise.
He just hammers it. And he counts on the fact that he's going to, he hammered that ball. There definitely some of these errors, Mark, I think are 100% due to some icing on the paddle and the change in the conditions. We're not going to see this many faults in a row.
No, you'd never see that. I agree. We've had 5 faults in 2+ games.
Without that being the case, if I'm these guys, I might go to a flat serve, sort of more like a karate chop through. It seems like they're still doing okay with the forehand serve, but I don't know how they're getting, too much topspin on it with the paddle's icing. But great shot low into that snowboard. It's a bad spot for that drive there. Just Fraser waiting to attack it. Yeah, but started off with a weak off-pace drive to a guy standing on the net.
30.
Stick that or lob it.
Yep, and Rams has missed a couple of those side back balls, or backside balls. Great ball from Kaler with
15,
Fraser on the wrong side. Fraser was on his side of the net. He missed the volley.
Yeah, still try to angle it down a little bit. Good ball. Hot to handle.
Brad, what was your strategy in conditions like this? Were you more aggressive? Were you willing to wait longer for your opportunity? How did you handle these?
Well, I don't see the ball skidding, Mark. So what we're really talking about conditions-wise is whether your paddle's icing up. And if that's the case, then oftentimes, you know, you could either go for a lower lob or a higher lob, one or the other, and then just wait for the ball that you can drive flat and forward off the screen or off the deck. You know, if the ball stays in front of you, it's just tough to put the extra spin on it, so you have to be careful. But the ball's definitely not hydroplaning or skidding, that from what I've seen.
Surprised Frazier Morgan aren't looking for the switch of the net?
Actually, I like it because, you know, Morgan, there's no flash to it, but that flat, low overhead is actually the better shot for them right now. Keep it low. Even if Rams drives it, you know, those are all, they're going to volley those with no problems. They're not giving him anything to hit down. That's a good ball. Ooh. And of the tactical changes that I've seen, the less spin overheads has been really, really good for Frazier and Morgan. They are really working Rams now. I mean, they have been for a little while now, but they're really, really working them.
Kaler looking for the blitz, and he finds it.
Did find it. I was surprised they didn't know he was sneaking in there. Sort of dumped it to him like they didn't know. Oh, can he? No, he cannot.
Little indecision on that ball in the middle. Looks like either could have played it, neither did.
Well, I think Frazier completely surprised them with that backhand drive, although why it would be a surprise if he drives it. I think they got lost, to be honest, that Frazier was in the deuce court there.
That would have been an easy drive for Morgan with his backhand, too.
Yep. Would have.
Big forehand there, and there's the blitz from Frazier. Well, you better be careful with that off-pace drive with Scott Kaler at the net.
Yeah, the one good thing about it is we haven't seen him close in and hit an offensive volley really all day. You know, so they're doing a good job keeping him off the net. So he's not looking for those things. You know, he hasn't really had an opportunity yet. So the tempo is such that he's not able to read their drives. They're lobbing enough times.
Catches the nick, good get by Morgan.
Oh, right there again. He's good. What I love about this is all the players recognizing what a big moment is in this match. If Kaler Rams can close this out, Frazier more, you know, it's this huge, huge deal. So nobody's going for anything big. He'll probably take that, but and he gets it.
Kaler let that one go.
Yeah, you know, it's not like he ripped it. Kaler easily could have volleyed it. Not sure why he thought it was going out, but maybe he just thought he would have had to reach for it. There's good, yeah.
That's a great transition volley from Philippe Rams.
Yep. There's an offensive look. He got that read. And Frazier reaches for it instead of going back off the screen. So
They lead.
Yeah, just stick your hand in the bear's cage. Eventually the bear's going to bite you.
Yep. Yeah, he got stung on that one for sure.
David Jelson just sent me a picture of his little de-icer, which are on the text, Brad.
Oh, perfect.
I think the one match I won in the last 10 years was because I had a de-icer in my pocket and the other guys didn't.
There it is. Yep. Perfect.
Okay, so 3 consecutive breaks. See if Kayla Rams can hold serve and kind of break the trend here. So a couple faults in the last 2 games from both Frazier and Kayla. The other thing that'd be interesting, Brad, is I think that in terms of serving, it's much harder to serve with the underhand serve or the sidearm serve in the bad weather. I think it's easier just to throw the ball up and hit more of a flat, what'd you call it, a kung fu chop?
Yeah, you just kind of like chop it forward, you know, right. It can be for sure. You know, I got to be honest, I can do this, the underhand serve well, but, you know, I haven't pulled it out in a lot of heavy competition yet. So, and I certainly haven't had to use it in this type of weather.
Well, Rams throws in a good one there.
Whoa, surprise.
Rams just kind of put a guest appearance in there. That was Kaler's ball the whole way.
Yeah, and basically, you know, a rule of thumb is you just don't move left for an overhead in a righty-righty team, and he's clearly moving into his space. Control there for Morgan. Frazier and Morgan showing a lot of grit after that first set and a willingness to grind.
Damian Johnston suggests Windex.
Go.
Oh, great overhead, catches him in the leg.
It is a great overhead, and it's the perfect time for that type of shot. He's been cutting the ball down into the side screen. It's been biting, and there he lets it drop just a hair more, goes long right at the body. Beautifully done.
See Kaler lurking up there looking for that off-pace drive.
Yeah, he is. I was just about to say he's starting to draw a beat on it. Getting ready to close. That was a really smart lob there. Oh.
Wow. What was that?
15-all.
Reaching with his arm, not getting his legs underneath him. Just a little blurt. Give back.
And when I say off-pace from Kaler, anything less than a full-on drive, he can hit a drop shot on.
He can hit it on that on the full-on drive too if he's in the right position. But yeah, he's got a great drop up there. He's really starting to do some damage to Rams over there. Much better job going long and deep at his body. And then when he goes down, he's already have him moving in a singular direction.
Rams got a lot better. Way too many short lobs here. The first set we saw him driving him out of the service box continuously. Here we haven't at all.
Oh! Kaler has a good look. He thinks Frazier's going to poach. He goes over the high part of the net.
30,
And
30.
he doesn't, in fact, go over the net at all. So
30 all.
30 all.
These points are all so critical.
Yeah, this match is right there on the balance.
It's like the Heaters are on a 15-minute timer, Brad. They're walking out there consistently to turn them back on. Your Heaters are what, 30-minute timer? These are 15 minutes apparently. Ah, little mano a mano there, Brad.
I like it.
40,
Kaler comes out on top. Two of the best in the game at those hand-to-hand combats.
Yeah, that's fun to watch. Love it.
Of course, there are no South Africans or Argentines on the court right now, so.
He dialed that one up a little more.
Yes, he did. And as we've talked about earlier, it's not that he can't hit it. It's that on a percentage basis, he's going to make it less frequently than he is the backhand.
Great lob on the run there from Adam Morgan. Missed it wide. I mean, he made a good
that's a
position.
great example of making your opponent hit that first volley. I mean, he was in great position, but still a tough ball, which Kaler's hitting an overhead on down.
third set, 3-1.
Or first hold, Bradford, with the third set.
I do love how the players are recognizing the importance of these points that are going forward now. I see both teams trying to stick with a solid play. I mean, we're seeing a few errors here or there, but it's less haphazard. For the whole time, really, for Rams and Kaler, they've been completely on script the whole time, trying to lob a certain way.
And after seeing a few of those balls early on kind of roll off the players' paddles, we've seen none of that. I mean, as bad as the conditions look, they don't appear to be affecting play in the slightest.
Oh, great hands from Morgan.
The ball kind of bounced over Frazier's paddle.
Yeah, no, he had the one that wasn't hitting the top of the net. And great job by Morgan to cover him on the other. Now, that was a little bit of a lazy-footed, wasn't even a spike. I'm not sure what it was.
I don't know what he was doing there.
Off-pace overhead to a team at the net. You're going to hit that, you got to hit it. Otherwise, just pop it up. Great rip.
15 all.
That Rams forehand is an impressive shot, isn't it?
It's a really nice smooth swing.
30-15.
That was a great low ball down by the snowboard there. Oh, you missed it wide.
Kind of slapped at that ball. Didn't really hit the topspin forehand we've been seeing from him.
Yeah, he didn't get his feet in position, and he tried for too good of a spot there. No room. Got to get that ball off the hips and try to drive it more in between them, but it's a good ball. A couple of good returns, though. Keeping him in this game.
Fraser Morgan really need to close this game out.
That's a good spot there from Kaler.
Great ball.
Yeah, it's a good read, and he sees Fraser moving. Slides it down the line. He's got a pretty quick release, Rams. It's the ability to move the ball left or right last minute. Back to the strategy of making Fraser beat him with the forehand. Doing a great job keeping his intensity up.
Fraser's gotten a little deep in the court for my taste. I like when he's shorter in the court. Oh, what a volley from Kaler. Great court positioning. And there's the blitz.
And a bad blitz at that. And then Morgan does not move to the center of the court, but I think he had to figure that Fraser was going to do something with that ball. And Fraser just kind of popped it back. You're going to come forward like that. You got to affect change in the point. You can't just, you're not just putting it in, because you're putting yourself in a bad position when you blitz. So you have to gain offensive purchase, otherwise don't do it.
Yeah, this is a critical game right here.
Yeah, but a good point there from Rams and Kaler. And to me, it's sort of just like they have a reasonable strategy. I'd like to see Rams on his backhand lob. You were talking about him lobbing better a little bit. He's almost kind of like slicing it. You know, I'd rather see him just set his paddle down low and just lift it straight up. You know, so he's getting the height on it. Unless he's going for a little bit like that lower lob. That's a good overhead that Fraser's using. He's got to go that long, deep one at the Rams' body. That's wide.
Too aggressive. Trying to get it away from Fraser. That's the pressure Fraser's overhead's putting on him. Another game point.
Oh, that's a big
hole there for Adam Morgan.
Yep, good job.
Fraser
and again,
Morgan.
It's just a couple of, like,
Third set,
to me it seems like whoever's just going to kind of stay mentally tough and kind of,
3-2.
in a weird way, I'm going to get all
Taylor
kind of
Romsley.
Eastern philosophy on you here, like who can harness their chi or get the energy out there. You know, that forehand, a little low, you know, you got to just, each point has so much more significance now.
Yeah, everything is just hanging in the balance right now.
Yep. Including my dinner plans.
Morgan misses the forehand there.
15
And you see him, he's rubbing his paddle afterwards. Everybody's just trying to keep that ice off it. You can use the heat from your hand as well as a paddle scraper. I don't think any one of these guys has a paddle scraper. Great backhand overhead.
Big shout out to Shannon Vincent, former APTA Tour Director, who did so much for us member of the board, Chicago Women's League. She really was the one that helped take the Grand Prix to the next level.
Terrific, terrific chairman, terrific person.
Reminded of what you said earlier, Brad. Just every point is critical now. All 4 players recognize it. And just everybody's just locked in right now.
It's a battle. I mean, and they're just trying to, you know, maintain focus, try to limit the errors. So much of this is keeping your feet under you, get your energy, keep your head right the whole way through, point after point. See, that's I don't know what he's looking at, but he just didn't put his paddle back into a regular volley position, which is just completely unlike Kaler. Maybe I think he's pointing to it because he completely missed the spot that he wanted to hit the overhead to, and as a consequence, he was surprised by the drive coming back at him. Because I'm not sure what that was.
So that was a smart play by Morgan not to follow that ball in.
Yep.
30-15.
Some words from Kaler. What do you think you said to him, Brad? Kind of settle down?
No, I think Kaler's always relatively calm. I think it was probably a let's go, or maybe it was even a serve it wide type of thing, or a little bit of a strategy point. You know, but they do the signals. You'll see Philippe Rams there. Philippe Rams putting his hand down, showing the pinky. That means he's going to go to the left, to the right. He's telling him where to serve, how he's moving. Nice little backhand chip. It's working well. They're still getting the net. That's way over hit.
Boy, Kaler with a couple of strange decisions there.
30-40.
Yeah, in this game, he's just made a couple of bad choices. And it was unprepared once or twice. There, instead of getting back in, he waits. You do not want to be hitting half volleys, you know, when Tyler Frazier is running forward. That is literally the exact thing not to do. If that's the case, I might, instead of trying to hit the good shot, which he did, I might just lob it and leave.
I don't think you might, Brad. I think you would.
Yeah, but when I say leave, though, I mean out the door, go back. You know. But it's, you know, a couple of decisions. You're right. And
that's what's going to decide this match.
That's literally just saying the same thing. I think that's exactly what's going to decide this match. Just a couple of decisions here or there, or a couple of mental errors. Like he could have blocked that ball. It's a perfectly placed overhead into the side screen there. Then it gets right near the wire.
Fist pump from Kaler, and angry gesture from Morgan. They all know that these points, the whole match is hanging in the balance right here.
That was a break point, so.
Almost seems like Kaler's serving harder now, which is giving Morgan more room to hit the ball off the back wire.
I like that soft, floaty overhead.
I thought you were talking about Kaler's forehand.
I like that soft, floaty overhead to Kaler's forehand. You know, but that's a tough one. See, again, that ball's staying a little lower.
Had to move a long way to hit that ball.
Yep.
Another break opportunity.
Wasn't really moving forward, Mark. That's a great volley from there. Nice dig. That's a good lob. Are trying to take the ball they want to hit the most. I'm not sure Rams did in the last point, whereas the first two sets it was really just a tale of execution. Now they get all the players just grinding.
Yep.
Grinding.
Kaler looking for that nick in the deuce court.
Oh, great ball, and I think he just wore him down. And
Game.
Kaler doesn't normally do that. You see how he stood there back behind the box in the box, and he kind of just squatted down. Normally he closes right back in, Mark. And in that case there, didn't make that move. So I think there were 2 or 3 points there from Kaler in that game where he just didn't have the kind of his mental, normally spotless mental game.
Yeah, that was really much more a mental mistake than a physical error, wasn't it?
Well, you had to close into it, and it certainly was a great low drive. And after about 100 balls in a point, you know, anything can get you. But
Love 15.
It's just a war out there, Brad. Right now, that's what you love to see. Just 4 guys really competing. Conditions are far from optimal, and they're just in a battle.
Yep.
Trying to find a way to win points. Nothing pretty about this.
No, it's grind.
Two missed overheads this game. That one from Morgan, who asked about the call.
Love 30.
Philippe Rams holds up his hand and shows you how far it was out by. Big kudos to Jay Goman for handling all the snow. And as we go back for the heaters one more time. What's the record, Brad, for most times heaters turned on in a set?
Well, this might be it because they're on a 15-minute timer. They're it's simply a question of what the timers are on the heater. So, I mean, this is probably, we've seen it like 7, 8 times already, right?
Yeah. Love 30.
Go back to the tape, but might be a good trivia question. Most times heaters turned on in a set.
It'd be a trivia question. I don't know if it'd be a good one.
No, I don't think a lot of people would want to play that game with me, you know. It's probably more like a trivial question. But
great get from Kaler.
And you see, he didn't expect him to let that ball bounce. Once Morgan bounced it, Frazier expected him to take it right off the net. And once he bounced it and moved back, Frazier was just flat-footed. Couldn't get
the ball
there.
was traveling about 2 miles an hour. Either one of them could have played it easily, and they ran into each other.
Well, Frazier wasn't even looking to play it. He just thought he was taking it off the net. And that's a break right back.
Wow.
Just like we say, it's just kind of a war of who's going to execute. And I'd have to say, just similarly to the game we had before from Kaler Rams, a couple of mental errors there from Frazier Morgan. He's look at you can see Adam Morgan there on the side of your screen to the right, putting his towel on the thing, hugging it close, trying to get a little body heat, absorb some of the moisture on there so it doesn't freeze. Get whatever is on that paddle off that paddle. All the ice.
So despite the fact we're deep in the third set, Bradford, this is just barely hitting 2 hours now. The first 2 sets obviously were very quick. Okay, Philippe Rams to serve, 4-3 in the third. A little bit surprised we haven't seen people changing their paddle out.
Yeah, people get used to the one they're using, but I would agree with you. In conditions like this, you'd probably almost want 3 paddles. Take one in, put one inside the hut, get another one out.
Rotate them.
Yep, 100%. I think it's kind of at the point where people aren't thinking that way yet. I mean, you know, it's a funny thing. You watch the tennis and you see every pro tennis player, you know, every time there's a ball change, a lot of the top players are changing their rackets with the balls, right? So they want the exact same feel all over. Pretty much that was started by Lendl, you know, all those years ago. And but, you know, his argument was you want the exact same conditions all the way through. I used a new racket with the new ball. This ball's 7 games old. Now I'm going to get another new racket with the new balls. And, you know, certainly can't argue with that logically.
Kaler again jumping on that off-pace drive from Frazier. And there's 6 points from the title. He's got to be careful with that ball with Kaler on the net.
30 left.
Yep. He's got to pick it out at the right times. And I'd like to see him do it with a forward move and a blitz, you know, behind it some of the time. He's just kind of hitting it at this stage. Oh!
40 love.
Kaler caught him moving in. A little far for Morgan to travel to hit that spike. That's 7 points in a row, Brad, after they broke back to get to 3-all.
And as easy as the route was for both these teams to get to the final mark, no matter what it is, there is a lot of mental and physical toll playing 4 matches in a day, no matter what it is. You know, so
I wouldn't know, Brad. I've never played 4 matches in a day. I usually lose my
lunch,
third.
The other OBL out before lunch. But
exactly.
You know, so many of these matches as we get near the end, there is an element to grinding them sometimes. Hard to find your best physical form all the time and your best mental form all the time. Great volley from Rams there. And look at you know, Morgan increasing his position up there, standing inside
all of
the
a sudden.
baseline. Yeah, just trying to make a little move. We haven't seen that at all really in this match. In a strange way, Morgan's actually, you know, you always think of Frazier as the go-to engine or the attacking engine, but they just, because of the strategy of Kaler and Rams, just dump it to Frazier's forehand time and time again. It's really not been the case. You know, it's almost like Morgan's going to have to jump in with the offense because Frazier is not bringing that forehand. He's just lobbing it. It's a great lob that time from Frazier, though. Frazier moving himself in. Doing a good job reading that, pushing the ball behind him when he moves in. That's going to be a good look and a great play. Perfect. Off his heels backhand.
Expected him to start grinding again. Surprised he took a big rip at that backhand.
Might have been a 40 love shot. Chance to win a point. He's got a ball in his, you know, what he considers striking him, but I don't think his body was behind it. Ready to move in. But that was a great point in the last one from, you know, from Frazier and Morgan. They put in a couple of feints. Eventually, they lobbed well and got a weak ball from Rams and Kaler, and then took advantage when they did. Great spot.
Great lob from Kaler. What a response.
Oh, huge. And Morgan with the fist pump. I love
40,
it. You know, one thing
30.
that's terrific about watching Adam Morgan play is he keeps his intensity throughout a match. He is just got more than enough intensity for an entire day of paddle or anything for that matter, probably. You know, keeps it out there. He wears it on his sleeve. It's great.
Huge point. At least that's what John Lubau would say if he were here.
Yeah, absolutely is. Being up 40 love. And, you know, when you lose those 40 love games, let's imagine here that Kaler Rams lose this match. You know what's going to come off. You know, yeah, we were up 4-3, serving 40 love. We lost that game. Yeah, of course, that's going to be the only thing they're going to talk about. You know, as you lose a 40 love game like that, it's massive.
Great get off the nick from Morgan. And all of a sudden, Frazier and Morgan are really lobbing well.
Yeah, better and better. And that's the key. If they just get them off the net, they're not crashing in as much anymore. The grind has worked. You know, it's 1,000 body shots, you know, after time. Good lead
Morgan
there
plays
from Morgan.
Frazier plays the nick from Morgan's corner.
Watch their paddles. They're finishing them up to the sky. Oh, and that's just a great ball. Lob deep, lob deep, lob deep. Take a strike. The guy's off the net. You wouldn't say it's an impossible volley by any means, but, you know, you hit enough little jabs at him, he just misses the volley eventually. You can't make them all.
This reminds me of the great Boris Becker line about the 5th set, Brad.
And which is that?
Just not about talent. It's about who wants it
Who
more.
wants it
It's going to
more.
be mentally tougher.
Right. Yeah.
Great
and
overhead
there's
there
no
from
question
Rams.
there. That was a terrific overhead. Held
Oh,
it,
they're
let it drop low.
4th opportunity to close the game out.
Now, Frazier's been pretty conservative with all returns. He has not gone for many at all. Would you
How
like
many
to
soft
see it?
overheads do you think Kayla Rams have hit to the Frazier forehand today?
Oh, I mean, 800.
500? 1,000?
800. I mean, you know, the number is large. You know, it's certainly the go-to spot. And what I was about to say, actually, is Mark, do you think that Morgan should at any time try to take a little more of that center away? It's kind of a risk thing, you know, or is it worth it or not worth it? You know, but
I think on the Rob, it's absolutely worth it.
He's clearly not taking any of the center away. You know, they're getting a full 6, 7 boards. You know, oftentimes the players of a certain type will squeeze that down to 3, 4 boards and then take a look when they can. Oh,
And he misses
killer.
a lob.
Killer.
Yeah, that game really hurt Frazier Morgan.
Kayla
See their body language, kind of shoulders droop a little bit.
5 games to 3.
Here's the key now. Don't give any points in. Make these guys win it. The hardest thing for a team to do is to close a match out. I want to see Rams and Kaler have to hit a bunch of great shots. Now, usually it's incumbent upon the backcourt team to make the shots, right? You know, more so than that team. He takes 2 practice swings, worried about the ice on his paddle. Immediately spins one right in there into the bottom. Doesn't spin, doesn't bite on his paddle, just slides right off.
Here's what we talked about earlier, that sidearm serve is very difficult in bad weather conditions.
Oh, wow. Well, I was just about saying they got to make him win it,
30.
and we got a fault and a missed overhead.
And that may have been partially a result of the ice in the paddle, but it's just a bad decision to hit that heavy roller in these conditions.
Yeah, if the conditions are bad, that means the conditions are bad for the other guys too. Push it deep, make them beat you.
2 points from the match and the title.
Yep.
And we got to turn the heaters on again. You want to get it next time, Brad?
I can do it next time, yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'll do it the time after that.
Perfect. If we got a plan, let's stick to the plan.
I was a little worried.
Now, hopefully after the match, we'll get an interview with our winners. Great down the line lobs, good placement. this is what we're talking about, making them beat them with their shots back in the backcourt. That's a great ball to crease.
Oh, what a get from Kaler.
Yeah, terrific dig.
Oh, barely catches the line.
Yep, but a terrific lob there from Rams. You know, there was a time in a little spot in the match, Mark, where we were seeing Rams getting beat up a little on that screen. And that's gone away. I think it's gone away partially because we've seen the action tighten up. You know, nobody's really trying to hurt the other guy. They're really more trying to not make the crucial error. And you see Morgan taking a little off the serve, just making sure he gets it in the box. Oh,
wow, back-to-back missile lobs.
Back-to-back gifts from Morgan, then back-to-back gifts, one from Kaler, one from Rams. You say make the guys beat you. Yeah, he's going to the low push again. Also realizing it's harder to spin the ball in these conditions because the ball could at any time slide off your paddle.
Good conservative overheads from Frazier.
Yep, I love them. Oh, and now we got match points.
Found Morgan's right hip there.
Perfectly placed drive. He moved it over just about 6 inches. That's a great play.
Big forehand.
See, and that right there is one of the differences. I know the conditions are bad, but I'm pretty sure you'd see, you know, a certain player like Arai try to cut that, finish that right at that moment. That's a great lob. Held it, pushed it up. Now, why doesn't Frazier move over a step?
I don't think either of them has any intent on driving the ball at all right now, Brad, unless it's an absolute sitter.
Well, you know, I totally understand that. You know, make the other guys win the point. That's step one. If you don't lose, they can't win.
Yeah, but you can't just stop hitting the ball entirely either.
You're right. But oftentimes, if you make it so that they can't get it, eventually they're going to make a mistake and you'll get a really good look. Like that was a terrific look.
What a volley from Rams. Kaler jumping in front of him again.
Yeah, and he did a terrific job. He had to spin and hit it with his forehand. That's a tough ball. Nice. Game.
Game, set, and match. Kaler Rams 6-1, Love 6, 6-3, and they are the 2021 Midwesterns champions.
So we had our first and second seeds out there. I love the way the players battled, Mark.
What do you think the difference was at the end of the day, Bradford?
You know, at the end of the day, although I do believe that Morgan and Frazier came upon some good adjustments, trying to go for more of a lower overhead, pushing it through the court.
Scott,
you know, stop cutting it in there and hitting the down ups.
So if you would.
And I think the difference was, though, just Kaler and Rams at a certain pace were just better. They lobbed a little better with a little more placement and found a little more spots in the court. You know, and when it's all said and done, the reality is they put it on Frazier's forehand, and you know, his inability to threaten them with something from that shot was really the difference in the match.
Mark Keeby, tournament director, out there.
Friend.
So we get Jay Goman down from his perch up there. That was a good day of paddle here at the Midwesterns, and a terrific day yesterday for the ladies. It was certainly challenging weather-wise, getting a bit of everything out here in the Cincinnati area. You know, it doesn't snow that often out here. You know, Cincinnati's a little more further south than most people think it is.
Yeah.
Seems to snow every year at the Midwesterns.
Yep. Well, if it's the time of year that it's going to snow, this is the one.
A little bit, so I can give you this.
If you're Fraser Morgan, what would you have done differently?
The homework.
You know, I like I said, there are certain spots where they could have found some different things. One of the things I loved is they battled, and they fought, and they showed a willingness to grind. They did not lob and move and steal some spaces on the court to look for certain offensive opportunities, so they allowed the game to become, you know, just a dump and, you know, just dump it to the forehand of Fraser. And, you know, without Morgan stealing a board here or there, or Fraser getting the ability to take the ball early, even a step-in block lob once in a while, you know, and then after he hits it, stand in a little bit, or, you know, and so as a consequence, they weren't able to really
what do you think Tyler's doing right now, Bradford?
You know, probably just releasing some frustration. You know, it doesn't look like he's practicing a shot, and maybe he's feeling the ball on his paddle. I really don't know. You know, probably it's good to take a moment sometimes after these things, but right now it's time to take a moment with our winners.
Philippe, Scott, congratulations, 2021 Western champions.
Thanks.
That is Philippe and Scott behind those masks, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
That's us.
Guys, what was the difference today?
You know, I think we came out with a really good game plan and executed it pretty much perfect in the first set, and then, you know, they adjusted to what we were doing, like our slow, soft overheads, and, you know, Tyler moving forward and caught us a few times, and, you know, I think we were just a little slow to readjust to their adjustments. And in the third set, you know, we talked a little bit in between the second and third set about, do we want to change the strategy or just execute a little better, and I think we were able to do that in the third set.
Yeah, it looked to me like your level, you guys played an absolutely flawless first set, and it's just hard to maintain that level, and it looked like it just kind of dropped.
It definitely dropped a little bit in the second set. Yeah, I mean, I think both Adam and Tyler started playing a little bit better. And like Scott mentioned, we just didn't readjust our game plan, and we dropped our execution a little bit. But I'm just happy we were able to come back in the third set, play a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. Yeah, and end up winning the third set. It was a great win.
Well, you guys certainly battled out there. What adjustment do you think they made that you didn't adjust to, like, in time?
You know, I think they weren't in the first set. They were taking some more swings off our soft overheads, and we were either kind of stuffing the volley on them or just getting in air. And you know, Tyler started hitting that softball at our feet and moving forward, and we were a little bit too far off the net. And you're not going to win the exchanges with a guy like Tyler Fraser when you're off the net and he's closing forward. So, you know, we made a conscious effort to have the person not hitting the overheads, keeping their eyes forward so they could anticipate when we saw Tyler creep in and try to stuff the volley on him. And you know, from the baseline, we just talked about getting our lobs up. You know, it was a little bit snowy and the court was a little bit wet, not enough that it was really skidding, but you know, you just couldn't be super confident with some of those swings, especially as we got towards like the 5th, 6th, 7th game, and that ball really got balled and it was tough to control. So we were just focused on getting our lobs up, and, you know, I think that got a couple overhead errors from them too that we were able to take advantage of.
Now,
any icy conditions with your paddles?
A little bit. I mean, the paddle definitely got wet. Like Scott mentioned, the ball was pretty much, you know, just a rubber after a couple of games, so it's a little bit harder to control. But not icy, just wet. Just wet.
Bradford, any other questions for our 2021 champions?
Well, yeah. How are you guys going to celebrate?
I think the rest of the Pittsburgh guys are getting ready to watch some playoff football, so I think we'll catch up with them and maybe have a couple cocktails and enjoy it tonight. Definitely looking forward to it.
Sure. Yep.
And
I'd say good luck to the Steelers.
Winning football team.
Yeah. Still got to support
them. Well, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Dick,
thank you.
When are we going to see you guys next?
Probably Philly.
I think Philly Grand Prix. Yeah. Yep, that's probably the next one we're planning on playing.
Okay, enjoy it, and congrats again. Drive home safe.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
See you soon.
Appreciate it.
Bradford, closing thoughts?
You know, it was just a terrific match from the players. I think the way they summed it up was almost perfect. It was exactly in line with what our thoughts were. You know, they had a good game plan. They just decided in that third set they didn't need to change anything more, and they just went with just trying to execute more and pay attention to where the blitzes are coming from. And that's the mark of a great team. They realized that they played a flawless set, then they played a bad set and allowed a couple of things to happen. And, you know, that was so kudos to them and a great job for battling and staying through, you know, to the end.
Yeah, it's so tough to know when to stay with your game plan when you've lost a set as badly as they lost that set, to be able to label it execution versus strategy. And I think you're absolutely right. I think they made the right call.
Well, Mark, it was certainly a pleasure playing it and calling this with you, and it was a great tournament here at the Midwesterns. Any other thanks we want to give and shout-outs before we sign off here today?
Well, Mark Keeby, Heather Propp, the two tournament directors, obviously all the APTA people who went into this, Enet, Jerry Viant, Tiernan, I shot a 77 Cavana, Amin Kadari. Just a great effort from everybody, and we're going to see you next week at the Western New Englands, and what's going to be an absolutely stacked draw. And hope everybody has a good evening, and that's a wrap. You want to go Unity, Zoom?